Manga-Waido.
My name is Tatsuo Yananishi. I'm a tried and true game otaku. As you can probably imagine, I'm not too good with people, so I work as a system programmer and usually sit in front of the PC all day. The department I work at is the System Development Department. Most of the people I work with are top system engineers, what we call SEs and programmers, or PGs. The SEs create and design the software and codes for various systems, and then the PGs, like me, adjust the codes. The hours are long and the work gets pretty frustrating at times, but all my co-workers are really supportive and considerate. But most of them are all game lovers, and I love working with them. Except for one guy, an obnoxious marketing guy, a real nuisance of a guy. I'm talking about Yuzo Kurumi, a constant source of annoyance that works in the marketing department. He's a good talker and outgoing. His marketing skills are actually quite good. But the only problem is he's always making fun of us SEs and PGs, thinks we're a bunch of geeks. Some of these programming codes can take considerable time, but he'll demand we meet his quota, promising clients unachievable deadlines.
I'm sorry, but we'll never be able to meet this deadline. We'd have to work overtime and even on weekends for this.
I don't want to hear it. I go out and get you work, for God's sake. If it wasn't for me, you guys would be sitting around playing games all day long. You guys just create the codes for the system and not complain. He was always like this, and we've heard him say this kind of nasty remarks to us countless times. I guess it's stressful doing sales, but he seems to take his frustrations out on us every chance he gets. And when a client complains, you guys never seem to satisfy the client's needs. Put yourself in the customer's shoes, for God's sake. Like that, he would blame everything on us. But it was he who would promise clients all kinds of things we were unable to deliver. He was especially insulting toward me, because I'm a bit on the heavy side. It's because you're so fat that you can't do a good job. You really should lose some of the excess weight. Hey, fatso, stop blocking the hallway, would ya? He would disparage me about my weight practically every time I ran into the guy. Then one day I was being harassed by Kurumi with, "Hey, Tubby, quit walking in front of me like you own the damn place!" What is it with this guy? I wish he would just leave me be. Oh yeah? So you're gonna act like that? Or is it because you're a pig and you don't understand human language? Is that it, blubber boy? Yeah. Right about then, a previous client happened to pass by.
Oh, hello, Mr. Kurumi. Thanks for all your hard work on that lost project.
Oh, very nice to see you again, sir. I hope the system is up and running.
Oh, yes, thanks to that system you put in, our business has gotten quite efficient and work is progressing smoothly.
That's wonderful. I appreciate you saying that. The guy can switch on the charm just like that. He was such a jerk 5 seconds ago, for Pete's sake.
Is the person you're with also marketing? Your staff, perhaps?
This guy? Oh, no, he's just... He glanced toward me and had no choice but to introduce me out of courtesy. As soon as his client found out I was a programmer that worked on his system, he praised me for creating such an efficient system in such short notice. Since that day onward, Kurumi's harassment towards me shot up a notch. I guess he didn't like the fact that his client took a liking to me and praised me for the work I did. Then, several days later, Kurumi arrived at our department and walked right over to my desk and stood staring at me. "I'm going out with some clients right now. Stop everything you're doing and join me." "What? Excuse me? My job is programming, not marketing. That's your job to make sales. Take clients out. Well, I'm not good at that sort of stuff."
I'm sorry, but our department is short on staff as it is. If one skips out, we won't be able to meet our deadline. I would appreciate it if the marketing section would handle that portion of business. Is that asking too much?
What? Am I hearing you right? Are you giving me orders?
No, that was not my intention, sir.
Anyways, this is a request from the client himself. He wants to hear advice from the actual people creating the systems. We can't very well ignore a client's request now, can we? That's part of my job in marketing, which you guys know nothing about. Satisfying our customers' needs is an important part of the job. My boss couldn't refuse a request from a customer, so I reluctantly agreed to go. Besides, Kurumi is my boss's senior, so he didn't press it any further. I really didn't want to go with him, but I had no choice in the matter. The location for the client dinner was a high-end Japanese restaurant downtown. The client was a 50-ish CEO of a major corporation. Kurumi and the client started off downing several drinks, and they were pretty high as time passed.
Boy, oh boy, I'm having a great time. The food and drink are wonderful. Now only if we had some cute young girls. Now that would be the icing on the cake.
If you're really into it, sir, why don't we head over to a nightclub I know? Lots of girls there.
That's what I'm talking about, Kurumi. You're the man. You're coming along too, ain't you? Was that your name?
The client looked over at me, trying to figure out my name. Is this guy serious? A nightclub? No way! I'm just a gamer geek. I can't go to a place like that. Please, let's just call it a night. Why am I even here? I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna have to pass on that. Oh yeah? Are you saying I have bad taste in women or something? You think I'm some dirty old man? Alright, Yananishi, where are the girls? Take us to your favorite girly spot then. Kurumi looked over at me with that obnoxious face of his, daring me on. I just sat there unable to reply. He then turned towards me, his breath stinking of booze, snickering at me. Yeah, well, I've never really been to a place like that, to be honest.
Oh yeah, so you're not interested in going with us, huh? But you really should. You're still young. You should get as much experience as possible at your age. Okay then, out of these girls in this photo, which one is your favorite? As for me, I really like the one here in the right.
The client thrust his smartphone with the photo of the girls in me face. Well, I'm not sure about this.
Man, speak up, kid. I'm gonna go take a leak, so think about it while I'm gone, would you?
With that, the client left the room and went to the bathroom. As soon as the client left, Kurumi turned toward me and sneered. Don't blow this, you idiot! Don't you know the first thing about taking care of a potential client? If you can't speak, at least do something to entertain him, like dancing around or singing or something. You're totally useless, you lad ass. Then he took his glass of beer and dumped it right on me head. He then laughed his ass off. Can you believe the nerve of this guy? What the? For a second there, I wasn't sure what had just happened. First, I'm forced to go to this sales dinner with this jackass, and then they want to go to some girly bar, and then the idiot dumps a glass of cold beer on me head? It's just miserable working under this guy. Totally pathetic. When the client came back from the bathroom, he looked a little surprised, but this idiot, he's so darn drunk he grabbed his glass of beer and dumped it all over his own head. Can you believe this loser? He was laughing his ass off while saying it. That's it. I can't stand working with this guy anymore. I was seriously thinking about finding a new job somewhere. This was becoming totally unbearable. But then one day, a ray of light appeared over the horizon. One day, as I was just finishing up work and about to take a much-needed break, phone on rang out from me boss's desk. He answered and talked for a while, looking worried as he did so.
All right, I'll be over.
He said it was the sales manager for marketing.
I'm not sure what he wants, but he seems sort of agitated, so I'll go down there and see what he has to say.
He put on his jacket and hurriedly made his way down to the marketing department. Everyone in the system development section were a little worried. Was it some sort of problem with the system we put in? Was there a complaint from one of the customers? But me boss came back about 30 minutes later and looked extremely happy for some reason. What did the sales manager want? Was it some sort of complaint?
You're not going to believe this. Something very interesting just happened.
Me boss was called out to a conference room used by the sales department for client meetings. When he entered the conference room, he was surprised to see who was there. What he saw were two angry-looking clients, and Mr. Kurumi and his sales manager profusely apologizing to them. Mr. Kurumi looked extremely uncomfortable. Certainly not the usual boisterous and overconfident guy we were used to.
What the hell is going on here, I wonder? Hey, I'm glad you could make it. Sit down, you need to hear this.
Me boss sat next to the sales manager, Mr. Kurumi's immediate boss. He then started to explain the situation. Well, it turns out that we were on the verge of cutting deal with a major game company to co-produce an app for his mobile system. Apparently, thinking this would get him promoted, Kurumi jumped at the chance to handle this very important collaboration. But it turns out Mr. Kurumi had zero knowledge of such online games and made a complete mess of the entire project, making decisions on stuff he knew nothing about. Eventually, the client saw through his fabrications and were absolutely furious and demanded that a more knowledgeable person, someone who actually knows about programs and games, be brought on board, or they would pull out of the deal. That's why me boss, a game specialist himself, was called in to remedy the situation. With the inclusion of me boss to the meeting, all aspects of this collaboration went as smooth as silk. Everyone could see that considerable time had been wasted with Kurumi in charge. To make a long story short, we were brought in to take over all aspects of this deal. The first thing we did was to do research of rival game companies. We put all our game heads together and thought of various possible systems that could be employed. Our system development section creates codes and programs, but what's important is that most of the guys are total gamers. You can imagine the enthusiasm in the room with all of us gamer geeks in one room. I wasn't sure if it was because of that last incident, but it seems Mr. Kurumi is way quieter than usual these days. Even when I ran into him in the hallway, he wouldn't hassle me at all like he used to. The clients were very enthusiastic of our involvement in the game app, and we held numerous meetings afterwards. It seems Mr. Kurumi was of no use to this project, and my boss was called in instead for every meeting. I was also asked to join and give creative advice. Mr. Kurumi is the go-to marketing guy, so you should at least learn a little about how this game app works, or at least learn a little of the lingo. I can't understand why he was the top sales guy for so long. After the last meeting, I ran into Mr. Kimura outside in the hallway. Hey, get over here! I want you to explain this game app to me, and in layman's terms, so I can understand, eh? You got that? None of your mumbo-jumbo geek talk. I was taken aback by his sudden request. I'm sorry I can't help you out there. You told us that we in the system development section just shut up and create programs and codes and leave the marketing up to the big boys. I recall you saying that countless times. I bet really didn't expect such an abrupt from me. Our client was extremely satisfied by the results of our collaboration, especially the creative input by our systems development team. Word of mouth spread and other gaming companies approached us wanting to collaborate on other similar projects. By this time, Mr. Kurumi was desperate to redeem himself and volunteered to lead the marketing team. Apparently, he started by doing his own research on rival gaming companies and the type of apps that were most popular. But even after a week, he wasn't quite able to grasp the world of games or even what made it so fun to so many people like us. He just wasn't the game kind of guy. You really don't know anything about games, do you? You should be able to master that game in 3 days. Most 10-year-olds can do it in 2. Come on, man, help me out here, would you? I really screwed up on the last project. I need to make good on this or I'm finished. Come on, you guys. This kind of game is super easy for you, right? Give me some advice. What do I do to get better at this?
We can't help you out. You're the marketing team leader. Work it out yourself. You never wanted our help before.
Why don't you just admit it to the client and simply say you can't do this job? Or maybe you can do a little dance or sing a song for them. I'm sure they'll forgive you. What? You can't talk to me that way. You'll regret treating me like this. I was always timid with this guy, and for a second there, I was a bit worried by his threats, but then my worries suddenly vanished into thin air. The game we developed really took off, and our company name surged in the industry. One rumor that was going around is that our company has the technical skills to create outstanding products, but the marketing department is all talk, never delivering on their promises, especially the marketing rep. Well, practically everyone knew that person was Kurumi. His position at the economy was in dire circumstances. But that wasn't all. The accounting department found some suspicious paperwork when going through the financial records. They found that he had forged expenses such as receipts like gasoline payments and travel expense. Not only that, he charged the company for entertainment expenses, even though it had nothing to do with potential clients. It was all for personal use. He would go to various nightclubs and high-end restaurants, charging it all to the company, saying it was all for marketing purposes. Now I see why he seemed to be the top sales guy. It was all a ruse. Eventually, considerable evidence was collected regarding his fraudulent business practices and swindling company funds. He was finally fired from the company. He could have legitimately continued to use funds for only sales and gotten away with it, but he got greedy. As for us guys in the system development team, our collaboration with that game company really took off, and my boss was promoted to an executive position. I was also offered a SE position, which is way better paying than a simple programmer, but I was happy being a programmer and I wanted to continue working with the same guys. We were like the dream team. I didn't want to disrupt that synergy. That Kurumi guy gone and our reputation on the rise, every day is a challenge. And besides, I love the work.